and welcome. You are with Echelon. The outbreak of the pandemic has meant that businesses have had to rely on their technology infrastructure more so than they have been used to in the past. And discovering that their digital connection to customers and other stakeholders is poor has been a real wake up call for most companies. So there is now this tremendous interest by companies to digitally transform, to engage their customers. Joining us today to talk about this is Ramesh Shanmuganathan from the John Keells Group. Ramesh has multiple roles within the John Keells Group and also works with many external customers. He is an executive vice president and group CIO at JKH and also chief executive of John Keells IT. Recently, Ramesh led digitization of the Keells supermarket chain following a surge in online demand after the pandemic hit. Now, Ramesh, is that a fair way to describe what you do?
Yep, pretty much.
Okay. The COVID pandemic, Ramesh, has impacted businesses. Many companies are now scrambling to get their digital infrastructure in place and working well. What are you seeing out there in the market?
COVID has been a pretty crude wake-up call for many. It kind of really shook people up in terms of where they were investing and what was the relevance in terms of the investments, and was it customer-centric, and what was it kind of really advancing. That all of a sudden you had basic assumptions in which that your business was operating got changed, right? So I think that is where I feel a lot of us sometimes don't take that calculated risk in terms of extrapolating your journey, in terms of revalidating your assumptions in what has kind of evolved from the past, whether it's future proof.
Companies have to reimagine what their new customer journey will be like. Recently, I think you did this with the Keells supermarket chain. However, companies are also thinking there is potential to scale up and build maybe a platform and not just be doing the same thing when they now deploy technology. Are you seeing evidence of this?
Exactly. We had the lockdown for, say, for 6 weeks, right? Post lockdown, our number of orders from 5,000 a day just dropped to 200.
Right.
Everyone was clamoring back to the physical store. So the issue is, we could make assumptions saying, okay, this is going to be sustained and this is what it's going to be, but the human psyche and the customer psyche also needs to change. Having said that, and one of the other things we also have online is that we have a huge opportunity to collaborate, co-create, and co-innovate, right? So that's why I said today we don't have to own the entire value chain. If Keells only wants to sell, I could partner with Pick.me or Uber to deliver. I could partner with numerous all these digital wallets for payments, right? So I could partner with someone else to do the warehousing, right? In terms of if I really want to kind of scale that business. Today, the opportunities are enormous because the very word used, platform. The moment you get into a platform, it becomes like building a Lego toy. As in building a Lego, you can focus on what you are good at and then co-create with others.
In the simplest possible terms, what do you think a company can achieve in the current climate, let's say, with having their customers connected to their systems and the resulting data?
That power of the choice should be given to me. If you look at me as Ramesh Shanmuganathan, I said I have multiple personas. I am a CIO, I could be a CEO, I could be a father, I could be a student. But when I wear the hat of that persona, my information needs are different. Right. So then, am I able to consume that information I need wearing the different hats from where I am, when I want?
Sure.
Right? That choice is a very powerful choice that I'm asking for. So I always say that if every consumer asks this from you, are you able to deliver? I want what I want when I want it. That's an impossible ask. I want what I want when I want it. Are we as businesses or as whatever are in a position to fulfill that? Right? It's a journey. right? So that is the whole promise that platforms hold. But in terms of to what extent you would want to go depends on the organization. A lot of the things what we're taking to market is what we've actually lived and breathed at John Keells, right? So what we are taking to market is solutions and tech which we are deployed, and we have walked the talk. And most of the solutions we are taking out are those, other than in the spaces like airline and stuff where we have specialized solutions, right? Lastly, because being a conglomerate, we are blessed to have the breadth of the exposure as well.
Technology transformation can appear overwhelming to a company, even if they are keen to get on with it, right? And you're talking about becoming hyper relevant to your customers. That can sound absolutely overwhelming. Is it possible to break this down? How does a company approach this?
In an organization, IT organization infrastructures, you must have a well-oiled transaction system. What we talk of in terms of transact to transform is looking at all of that. So when you have your IT systems being accessed by your employees, I mean, it's easy for you to host your own data center and manage that. So when more and more you're seeing that your external stakeholders are accessing your data more than yours, especially when you go on a digitization journey where you're bringing customers, partners in. So then you have to have a hub which can scale. That is what we talk about transform, of moving all of this into the cloud. Third phase of the journey, once you're hooked in terms of highway. Now I am not bothered who goes on Columbus Southern Highway, where there's a lorry, bus, and I said all of you guys can go. But then there is traffic engineering, right? So imagine if there is capacity for say 10,000 vehicles, say 20,000 vehicles gets on the highway. You will choke that whole thing. What we are trying to do in Transform also to understand that workload and then right size the thing so that you don't overpay. Because when you are investing on capex, you have to plan for your 5-year capacity and pay upfront.
Sure.
In the cloud, it's like pay per drink.
Right.
So you pay for what you consume. So which is easy on your purse and which is the transformation journey you would want, because as an organization, you don't want to pay for something which you're not using. Like a utility. Right? Water you use what you pay for. Electricity same. Then the third phase is we are trying to collaborate. Because as I said, like I might want to collaborate with PickMe, Uber, I want to collaborate with all the banks for payments, I might want to collaborate for a warehouse. So that platform with the cloud, now I know I can easily stitch another highway if I want from, say, like Colombo to Jaffna, I can, from John Keells to PickMe, I can build a highway.
Sure.
John Keells to bank, I can build a highway, secure highway, right? So which then builds the private ecosystem while I'm serving the public mass, which gives me the capacity to build a private ecosystem as well for me to scale my own business, right? So then the other two pieces are creating the engagement, personalization. Then you're amassing data, you're then stitching the data together, driving the hyper personalization based on data points that you're getting.
Thank you, Ramesh. Thank you for joining us. That was Ramesh Shanmuganathan, Senior Vice President and CIO at John Keells Holdings and the Chief Executive of John Keells IT, talking to us about how companies can approach digital transformation. And thank you all for watching.